Good morning, traders. This is Trevor. It is Wednesday, August 28th, 8:30, about an hour before the open. And here's your levels to watch for today on the S&P, as well as an Apple trade that I'm looking at for today. So let's get into the S&P first. So this is the ES. All right. So this is the E-mini future. This 5-minute chart here. Okay. Let's see here. So you can see we're bouncing on these red lines are price levels that I have drawn on the map of support and resistance. So you can see we're bouncing around on this 28.55 level right here, which you can see this line goes way back, and I'll show you that. If I pull back here, excuse me, this 28.55 right here goes back. So this was a low. This was yesterday. No, excuse me, the day before's low. So was that Monday's low? So this is Monday's low, pretty important. That would be your weekly low. So, on a weekly time frame, that's an important level. So again, holding this area is pretty important. Below that, if we break this 28.55, we're probably heading to around this 28.40 level. Is a pretty good vacuum down to that. Okay, if we're able to hold it and we bounce back up, you can see we've got a couple lines. I'm going to zoom back in. We've got a line here, which was a low that held, a low that held, a low that held, and then a low that broke. You can see we broke it, we came down, we came back up. Now that support turned resistance, and it rejected it lower. So you see that pattern there? And that's around this 28.62, 28.60 level. If we can get above that, we're probably getting back up to this 28.76, 28.80. That's going to be your next important level. Okay, so there's your levels on the S&P. If we look at just the 10,000 foot view as far as the setup, I mean, we've got a pretty oversold RSI here on the 5-minute chart. So the fact that this is holding, RSI is at a low and oversold, it is constructive for a bounce. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's it is a good setup. MACD is trending lower, which from a trend point of view is not helpful. But it is at a low, like an oversold reading, being this far down below the midline. So we've got that. On the bottom line, we've got the VWAP, same thing, 5-minute chart. You can see we're trading well below. We've gotten back inside now, but below this widening VWAP. Okay, so there's your setup there. Let's pop over to. Before I get into Apple, let me pull up the future. So this is the daily chart, 1-year chart. I mean, you can see we're just chopping around. I mean, basically your trading range here is 28, call it 28.15 to 29.30. As long as we're in here, there is no edge. You can also see that basically is between the 50-day, I've highlighted it here, so the red line, the 50-day moving average here, and the 200-day down here. So this is all kind of no man's land. You can make some money in between it. We did hold yesterday this blue line, which is the 150-day moving average. A lot of people don't use that, or it's not as common, but I do like to use it. We held it yesterday, which was, again, supportive. You can see we're obviously trading below it today, so that's not helpful, but that would be like our first bogey. That's at 28.68, about 10 points above where we are now. For contrast, let's look at the S&P, so the actual SPX cash. Again, we held that 150-day right here. This is the daily on the S&P. So same setup, you miss the after hours action, but it can sometimes give you a little cleaner view of the overall market setup. Okay. Here's the last thing I wanted to point out to you. I've been scanning some charts. I'm not seeing a whole lot of really good setups, but this is Apple. So Apple is riding its 50-day moving average here. Again, this is a daily chart. You can see the 50-day is right here at 203.73. You can see right now the bid ask, it's basically right at that level, 203 to 203.50. It violated it here. So this would have been, let's say this was Tuesday, Monday, so this would have been Friday. So Friday's big drop lower, violated the 50, recaptured it Monday, came back down to it Tuesday. And, this might be a decent setup for a long. So we see the S&P a little oversold on the intraday chart that I showed a minute ago. Apple is holding here. If it holds this area, yesterday's low is 203.53, so we're basically looking to open around that area. If we can hold that and hold this 50-day, might be a nice little long, using maybe the 200 or the 205 options that expire either this Friday or next Friday. So just an idea for you, something to watch. Hope it helps. We'll see you at the open.